Hello, welcome to From Caracas. Today I'm going to talk with Karin Scheller. She's a member of the Political Women Council of Germany, and she has been participating at the first International Women Congress for Peace and Solidarity that was held here in Venezuela's capital. Karin, hello, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Hello.
Hello. Well, why isn't an International Women Congress being held in Caracas? Why here in Venezuela?
Es este primer congreso
The first Women
de
Congress
las
for
mujeres
Peace and Solidarity among Peoples was held here in Caracas because at this time it is very important that the women of the world meet in general, but also here in Caracas specifically. Because it's important for us women to abroad and to know the situation that is happening here in Caracas in Venezuela. But also, on the other hand, we express our solidarity for the Venezuelan people and women. And that has also this invitation. And we are very happy that we were more. In total, more than 500 national delegates, and there were around 74 international delegates from over 21 countries around the world.
Interesting. And what were the topics you were discussing?
estaban diferentes mesas.
There were different working tables. They were about the environment that I personally was very interested in, but about neocolonialism, the role of women against patriarchy and racism. And on different topics on the table, but there were also information with the vice president and also with the women ministers of Venezuela to report more on the situation happening here in the country. And in the end, we made a final statement of Caracas, also with conclusions and decisions, on how the work and unity of women on this world needs to be followed.
And how is that work going to be continued?
La decisión
The decision, for me, the main decision that we have to coordinate our job better. There is, for example, the march of the 8th of May. There is a day of fight for women. Yes, it is important to coordinate the work in all the countries that there are. Now, while there are many different women's organizations, social organizations, that with these slogans have the same interest of changing the situation of women, changing society, improving the world, and it is important to arrive together, and that was the decision, that we have to coordinate this work together. That, for example, with the same slogans, with the same things, we can work on that. And also one decision that was held this Congress every year, I think here in Caracas.
aquí en Caracas.
Interesting. What challenges must the women face to defend their rights and make their voice to be heard?
Yo creo que es eso. Yo creo que
I
es
think
eso
that's
que
it. I think that there are differences between people. There are differences between ideologies. There are differences, but we have to see if we want to achieve something for the situation of women. If we got to get to the point, we have to unify ourselves on these points. And we need to discuss and debate them. And we need to discuss the difference to overcome them. Because we are only strong if we are united. I think that's the most important thing.
lo más importante.
What is the action plan? Is there an action plan? I guess there is an action plan because you were saying there was a declaration of Caracas. I suppose the declaration of Caracas is the action plan for restoring the role of women in the society. What are the main points?
Yo creo que estaba eso.
I think that one of the points was the one that I was saying before of coordinating the work in these days of fight. For example, International Women's Day also Indigenous Women's Day, and also the Day Against the Violence of Women. Those actions we do
Y
on the
eso es
street.
las acciones hacemos en las calles, ¿no?
What,
La-
what are
de-
the actions? What are those actions?
Eso lo tenemos que
We have to
organizar.
organize that. I think that this was the impulse to do it, to coordinate it. And also, I think that the countries have their different ways of fighting and to learn about them. I think the 31st of September, there was a day of peace and there was a rally. And this is an example of here in Venezuela that they have expressing themselves and other countries to make links of people. We, in Germany, for example, on International Women's Days, we also make rallies in different cities to make our claims to be heard and our demands as well. And that's the way that we have. And for example, in Spain, they make strikes, a day of strike on March the 8th. They also don't work, they go to the street, and that's also a way. And I think that we have to learn from one another, as well as to put in common to get further.
Ponerlo en común para llegar más allá.
Okay. You are a member of the Political Women Council of Germany, but you also work in a factory. Tell us about it.
La organización.
The organization, the Women's Political Council, is also kind of like this Congress here, which are different women's organizations that meet, exchange, and organize their work. I am a worker. I am a worker.
What do you do for a living?
Yo soy mecánica industrial.
I am an engineer of industrial mechanics and I work in a factory that makes famous cars, Scheller, Stuttgart. And I work at the trade of the union, mainly. That's my job as a woman that is activist. I work in the trade union to organize workers in factories to meet their goals, to meet their demands. For example, schedule issues, which we women have in Germany. We are working in night shift, mornings, afternoon. Even if you have children, you might not be able to work like this. Those are things that we need, schedules for us to take care of the family and all of that. And with schedules like this, also the money we need for to support the family.
Mantener la familia.
What are the most difficult problems you have been facing as a member of this Political Women Council there in Germany, in the factory you work for? What are the main problems, the main women problems?
In Germany? In Germany, I think the main problem is that we also have
We have a lot of inequality. But the problem is that most women feel like they are free, they are liberated. They feel like they are equal. And why is that? It's always the media and everything that you see in them. For example, I earn the same as a man next to me. I make the same money, but I'll do. Now I have 2 children, and at that time my salary has not been increased, for example, then they actually take that money away from me. But look, you make the same money. What problems do you have? What else do you want? Yes. The serious problem is that many women are not oppressed. And that's what we are fighting for. But we also have a lot of anti-abortion laws, which is forbidden by law, and doctors should only publish it. Those are also the things migrant women who are also very strong of the time of this movement of women, because we have many migrants from other countries and even more are not having the same rights.
Many women, that, for instance, they migrate from Africa
De todo.
and they are looking for a job. They are in Germany.
Mujer, inmigrante,
If you're a woman and migrant, you don't have any chance.
oportunidades.
They have no opportunities. They have no right. Very interesting. And what do you do in those situations, in those cases?
With immigrants, para nosotros es lo más.
For us, it is the most important thing to learn or teach that is necessary to fight for the rights, and you cannot do it that alone. For that, you have to organize yourself. That is also this political advice of you are not alone. You have to be with the trade unions, social movements, and women in general. And the question that I think about, that's why we are also preparing a conference, the Third World Conference of Women, that is similar to this Congress, to unify all of these forces together and also to make steady decisions and continue to form this great power that women have all around the world. And that was also felt very powerfully in this Congress, that women do not want to follow life like this in this world, in which we destroy the environment, we destroy our life, and the future of our children.
Nuestra vida y el futuro de nuestros hijos.
And what do the men say when they look at you fighting for your rights?
Yo creo que es.
I think it is important not to see.
Solo ver.
How do they act?
Hay diferentes.
There are many different kinds. There is everything. But some say very quickly, oh look, feminists, what do you want? And so. But I think that in Germany, most of them are in favor of us because they know that it is not only about women's rights.
Se trata de los derechos de las mujeres. También es.
Everybody's rights.
Sí, sí. Y también si se.
Yes. If women fight for themselves, we fight for this world.
Luchamos por este mundo.
For your children.
Sí, también por.
And yes, and also for men.
Yes,
Sí.
that's right. And what's your opinion regarding the role of women here in the Bolivarian Revolution? As you have been visiting Venezuela, is this the first time you are visiting Venezuela?
No, this is the third
The
time.
third one. Oh, interesting.
Pero la cosa es que la
But
mayoría.
the thing is that most of the time I was with women here. So why our society really is like, I don't know much. But the thing that I see is here that women impress me.
Why?
Están así.
They have a lot of self-confidence, they are happy, they are cheerful, and they are very optimistic. They are not shy. I find that they are in the front row of this society, of the Venezuelan society. And this fight for me is truly an example. When I got here is joy, and you see how it's really here.
What do you think about the way the Venezuelan women face the economic war?
Es que no sé.
I don't know, I cannot say much.
According to what you have been heard from them during the sessions of the Congress, what are their experiences?
Lo que yo he visto es.
What I have seen is that it is also a quality of women that they find their way by themselves. Today, for example, I met a woman who was telling me that she was an engineer and she hasn't found a job. She was saying, well, here with grow, I can do something else. Here I have the sun and the earth. She was planting and growing herbs and making them to sell herbs as a business. And you can live off of that herbs. And that was for me like sometimes we're like we have serious problems, like what are we going to do? No, we need to go for the solutions, and that was maybe like a way to deal with this, to go ahead and to look for the solutions yourself.
¿no? Sino seguir adelante y buscar soluciones.
You also participated at a session with President Nicolás Maduro. Tell us about that.
En primer lugar fue
First of all, it was for me the most important thing was his presence, with his invitation, in the way that he values the work. For me, that was the most important thing. That the president said this work of women, this Congress, is a thing that is important, that goes in the first place. And for me, it was very impressive, and he was also talking about the situation here. And it was very kind, because he was familiar, not as if sometimes it seemed like the person is too far away from you. No. From him, it was very natural to talk. And for him, it was very important to explain to us, to give us some of his knowledge of his country, of his culture, so we can take out some things of this country. And I feel like, and I think that he's a very courageous
And what
man.
is needed to be done to protect the Mother Earth?
Yo creo que es una cuestión, la cuestión más importante.
I think this is an issue, the most important issue now happening in the world. Because we can fight for human rights, we can fight for liberation, but if we lose this nature, there will be no life anymore. We have no future and nothing really matters anymore. And I think that now, at this point of life, where we have to decide to truly protect of if it is in a state that is almost irreparable, that is why now. And what must we do? I think I was there at the table about what are we going to do to protect the Pachamama, as the Indians of how the indigenous people say. And I really like this explanation, and that's my opinion. I work in a car factory, and the main cause of this catastrophe of nature, of the environment, the cause are the international consortia. It's not the villages that throw away the trash, they all don't like it, but they are the cause. And to save these planets, you have to face these consortia because they cause a catastrophe. That's why.
Catástrofe, y por eso
And how to face them?
en las fábricas.
In the factories, that's why I'm working here. In the factories, the work is in unity with the indigenous people, with the ecological activists.
Los activistas ecológicas
What do you do there at the factory every single day in order to
hablando.
protect the earth?
I'm talking to my colleagues because it is a matter of awareness that fighting for the Pachamama is fighting against the consortium that is destroying the planet. Those are the real enemies. Together with its whole system, where no matter that the human being, nature, or anything, and then this front we have to build to save it.
And what about the governments?
En mi opinión,
In my opinion, governments do the job of being the servants of the consortiums. And we, in Germany, have an important discussion. I don't know if this movement, Fridays for Future, Triple F, is known here. Many countries in Germany, thousands of students stay in the streets because of the weathers, and there's also this discussion.
The
Pedimos,
climate global actions, for instance, every Friday. Yeah, we heard about that. Here in South America, in North America, there in the United States, there have been actions that have been organized by their leaders and the
Yeah.
teenager
Yeah.
who created
Yeah.
the idea.
yeah. Pero también ahí está la pregunta,
But there's still the question is when do we ask or demand the government to make better policies, to change the policy, or that we also have to fight for this motto, system change, not climate change. I believe that it is the way that we have to understand to save this planet and our life. We have to fight against the capitalist system and the imperialist system as well.
Liberalismo.
So finally, what can we learn from the indigenous people
Es que yo,
concerning the protection of the earth, the environment, for instance?
yo creo que es, yo creo.
I think that in Germany we do not have that. We do not have that relationship, that connection with nature. They feel more. They are much more closer in relation to nature, to rain, to earth. Because if you are that connected, you will protect it. It is yourself. It's part of your life. And for example, in countries of Europe, we are very far of that because of society. Of is the word separation between nature and the human being. And it is a matter of lack of awareness, generally.
Falta de conciencia de... Sí.
Karin, thank you very much. Dankeschön.
Sí, mucho gusto, sehr gerne.
Karin Scheller, a member of the Political Women Council of Germany. This is from Caracas. Thank you very much.